And also while we're at the beginning, I guess, can you guys kind of go around the room, give me I guess a brief overview of, I guess, your experience with Navisworks so far, and what I guess, if anything, you're hoping to learn or see today.
All right, I guess I'll start off. This is Matt. I'm over in the Tamarack office. Touched a little bit on sets about a year ago, and looking to really improve on that so that it can be utilized throughout all of our projects in clash detection.
Okay.
David Moorhead, intermediate user, and I want to see some more of these advanced features, kind of talking on. I got a quick question. Sean, maybe you can answer this. Do you want us all to, whatever model we have open, do you want us to do a save as, save it to our desktop so we don't muck up a master model on the Y drive?
Sure.
That's what I'll do.
We start clicking a lot of the fancy stuff.
Or just do a save as right there in Dropbox with your initials on it, and we'll delete them later.
Okay. Jeff, what about you?
I think Jeff's muted.
Jeff's restarting his computer, so it's going to take him a little bit to log in.
Okay.
This is Dave, Tommy. Right now I'm working remote from Iowa. I'll be down in the next 4 months permanently. I've used Navisworks off and on, ran meetings, done some clash detection, so this is kind of going to be a refresher, and like Dave Moorhead said, some of the advanced features, learning more about that stuff.
Okay.
This is Sean, the CAD manager. This is my actual first Navisworks training class I've attended, and everything I've been self-taught, so it's it'll be neat to see if there's anything new I can learn.
Okay. Cool. What about Timothy?
Yeah, Tim Juneau. I'm focused in on the plumbing side of the trade. The experience with Navisworks so far, we used it to coordinate with other trades. So I have a good understanding of how to get in the model, look around. Things I'd like to learn is how to better use clash detection and utilize sets and save views more efficiently.
Okay, I can do that. Okay, great. Anybody else?
This is Dave again. Jeff's still trying to get logged in. I just popped in to see.
Okay.
Hopefully he'll be in just a couple minutes.
Looks like he just
do a file save as, Jeff, after you get the Dropbox open and put your initials behind it.
Okay.
I'm back.
Okay, Jeff, is there anything that you specifically want to see today or learn about?
Nothing specific. I just want to learn the in and outs. Only thing I learned so far was just from hearsay from other people. So.
Okay. So let's talk about the positives so far. When I'm looking at your all's models, first let's just look right here at the titles. You guys have a good naming convention. Looks like most people followed it. There's a couple of instances where you had some rogue people with the pump and then the office level 1 thing here, but it looks like basically everybody you got everybody on the project almost to follow your naming convention, so that's definitely a win. It's short and sweet and to the point, so I give you kudos there. Same thing with the naming convention up here. If I remember correctly, when I was talking to Sean, on Monday. That this was like a 6-floor building. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Jeff and I actually worked on it, so we know a little bit more about it than anybody else.
Okay, so I like how you guys set these up over here, like looking through your folder structure. Looking at how you broke everything up here, like with the different I guess views and segments and what is it sections. Typically, what I do when I'm building a Navisworks model is I like to build off of the floor plan, and I like to only do one floor at once. Pardon me, I'm about to sneeze. Okay, sorry about that. But I do like the the way that you guys set everything up. I'm kind of, I'm kind of willing to rethink that thought. But I personally like doing building everything off of the floor plan, building everything off of one floor. Mostly because it's easy for me to navigate around. If I've just got one floor in there, then it's not too much information. If I'm giving it to someone else, then they know what their I guess what level to open. The file is smaller, so the smaller the file, the faster things are going to save, the faster things are going to load, the faster things, whenever I move around the model, they're going to populate. So I did that more out of an act of self-preservation. See, a little bit about me, I guess. I worked for Walsh Construction for a number of years before coming and working with Applied Software, which is where I work now. I worked primarily as a BIM coordinator, but then when I was not doing BIM coordination, I was on a project and I was doing quality control engineering, and I was also a project engineer doing just the basic duties on the site, managing a couple of subcontractors, stuff like that.
A real quick question. When you say you break it up by floors, do you, for like the architectural and structural models, do you just crop those out, or do you go within Revit and when you export it, you section off what you want to export?
Yeah, great question. So typically what I do is I would go and I would crop the stuff out in Revit floor by floor. Now I'll be honest, I never really worked on skyscrapers. I always worked on hospitals and prisons and big, wide, things that had multiple buildings. I didn't really focus on, a 50-foot or a 50-story building. That's not something that I did, so I can see the argument on that. But typically what I would do is something that had, it was large hospitals, large hospital prisons, large prisons, large stuff like that, large public projects. And so to me, I always built it, I always, did it one floor at a time. And the way that I did that was by basically taking a 3D model or a 3D model view in Revit, saving it and duplicating it, and then sectioning it floor by floor.
That's what I normally try to do too. This is how that was broken out for construction wise. They built the building in 3 different areas, 2 floors at a time. So like, we want to coordinate it this way.
Yeah. So I mean, that makes sense to me. The main reason that I did it too is just because if I was just working on one floor, then I could just always I like having a view where I could look down from the top. It looks just like the plan. So I can, when I'm showing this off to the rest of my team, they're working off of the plans. So if they're working off the plans, then I want to give them something that looks like a plan.
Yeah, I was just getting your view on that, because me personally, when I've had to do multiple floors, I did it the easy way, and I just exported one structural model, and then I would take all the third floor components and populate it, and then chop the building up, so it's more labor intensive to go through and export first floor structural, second floor structural, third floor, et cetera, et cetera. Okay.
I mean, there's times when, I'll be honest, there's been times where I haven't been able to do that because my structural engineer could not break the model up, and maybe he gave me an IFC file, and then I just dealt with it. Then I created a section in Navisworks, but I still only focused on level 1 or level 2, level 3. Go ahead.
You said
the structure file of this file is the same way.
Okay.
They just sent me one big NWC file, and that was it. That's what's working properly. When we get the structural file from the structural installer, that's what we normally get. Typical. One big file.
Yeah, and so I would just section it out. Pardon me, in Navisworks. That's what I would do.
I didn't want to get us too far off course there. I was just wondering. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
If you guys look at Gulf Coast Hospital, you'll see a prime example of that. Because that job has about 8 or 10 different areas. That the structural file is one large file. We chopped it up floor by floor with everything else.
Yeah.
So you can chop up a file.
Yeah, well, we just section cut it.
What do you mean by that?
I'll give you an example of that. I'll show you. Let's see if I can find a Revit model here.
There's no Revit in there.
There won't be? Okay. Well, I'll open up one of my old ones, or one of mine. Okay, so I'll show you basically what I do. Okay, I have an app that actually does it. It breaks up the model floor by floor, and then creates the views for me automatically. But I'll show you how I do it manually.
So there's no way to do it from within Navisworks.
Yeah, you could do it in no. If you can section it. Yeah, but the data's still there. So
so you have to open it up in something that can open that file, and then you'll have to make a view. And yeah, I've done that before.
Okay. So but I guess first things first. Let's so what we're gonna do first, I guess, is we're gonna start with the selection inspector. Okay, so I'll tell you when I came across this, it was kind of a game changer for me. Basically, what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up different properties that we need to take a look at, so that when we roll over an object, we know exactly what we're looking at. Okay. So let's start with and actually no, yeah, let's do that. So what we're gonna do, what I want everybody to do is I want everybody to hopefully you guys already have Navisworks open. I want you to make sure that you're on the home tab, and I want you to come over here to the display menu, and then I want you to click on quick properties. Okay. So when I have that on, you'll notice when I roll over something, it tells me the item name, the all kinds of other fun stuff. If I roll over a whatever this thing is, then it gives me a whole bunch of different pieces and parts of information. If I roll over this cable tray, it tells me it's a 24x4 cable tray. The bottom elevation is 11.7. If I roll over this pipe or conduit, it tells me it's a 3-inch round conduit. It's 12 foot 2 1/4 inches off the ground. This piece
is there a setting that gives you all those extra values? Because mine doesn't have.
Yes.
Some of that.
Yeah. So I've got mine already set up. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you guys how to set yours up. Okay. So I'm just kind of going over all, clicking on everything, so that you guys can kind of see what it is that that that's possible here. So you can see this is a 60-inch slab. You can see right here we've got an elf. It tells you that's what type of, I guess, beam or whatever it is. You can see the bolt assembly, all kinds of fun stuff.
And we've got a quick properties template that we have in our S drive.
Oh, you do? Awesome. Yep. Okay, well then for some of you guys, this is going to be old hat. So let's see. So if you roll over here, it tells you stairs. So with that in mind, let's see. I guess I believe these are some VAVs right here, right? So the pink right here is a VAV. If I roll over it again, you can see the naming convention is on there. Tells you that the system classification was supply error. Tells you the size of it. All kinds of fun stuff. So with that in mind, let's kind of get what items do you guys have on your quick properties list now? What items do you wish that you had that you don't currently have? Do you know?
That's out of the box. Probably only have two options, whatever comes with Navisworks. But we do have a template that gives you size, system, abbreviation, I believe, and material type, I think, of the element.
Okay, is there anything that you guys would like to add to that? Like any other things that you would want to?
Most models, when we open it up, it's pretty daunting when you look at those options in there. So
yeah.
Is there some way to quickly navigate when you go to actually make the quick properties to know what you're looking for and it's the right thing?
Yeah. So that's a good point. So I'll jump into those and we'll kind of play around with them. But basically, what I like to do before I'm doing this is I like to click on some of the things that I've got. So let's just click on this piece of conduit right here, okay? Typically, what I'm going to do is I guess let's start even further at the beginning here. I want to make sure that everybody has the same, I guess, windows open that I do. Okay, so make sure that you have the Clash Detective. We don't have to worry about Timeliner right now. Make sure that we've got Clash Detective, Selection Tree, Sets, Find Items, Properties, Saved Viewpoints, and the Appearance Profiler turned on. Okay, so to do that, go to View, the View tab, then come over here to Windows, and then just check all these boxes that I've got checked. So I'll give everybody a minute to do that, so that when I say, okay, I'm going to click on this and view the properties, I want to make sure everybody has it. I'll give everybody 2 minutes to kind of get that done.
Do you actually have to have a model open to do that?
I don't think so.
I'm going to find out.
Where do you have your appearance profile? Hit tab. Oh, I see it now on the right-hand side.
Yeah, it's hidden over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the model open, but I'm not seeing, I guess, the exact same view. Does that matter?
Oh yeah, that's fine. If you're not looking at the same thing that me, that's completely fine. Yeah.
He's in area
I've
one.
got the Anthrax one.
He's on area one level.
So, area 1, level 2. Okay.
It says save view parts, area 1, sign off, and then down here L2 area 1.
Yep, I got her now. I was on, I think, first floor. It's easier for me if I
Need a
follow
bigger
along
monitor.
the exact
Too many
same
things
thing.
open.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I definitely
We just
do.
need 4 monitors, Tim.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we good to go now? Is everybody apples to apples with me?
Yeah, I'm close. I'm just trying to open a model now.
Okay, so when I do this, what I like to do, I just like to click on a couple of the things that I'm going to want to make sure that I need to review. So I've got my conduit here, so I'm just going to take a look up here at the properties. Okay, so there's all these different property tabs. Typically, the most valuable one to me is going to be the element tab. And I'll be straight up and honest with you. I have no idea why I've got this stuff in parentheses. I don't know where it came from, but anyway, so I always like using the element tab because that seems like it has a ton of information, especially if it comes from Revit. So you can see it tells you the size here, the length, the offset, the bottom elevation, all kinds of fun stuff. That's pretty valuable. The outside diameter, that's helpful. Then I see here you guys have like a trade size one, so I was expecting that to have more. But I can come through here, reference level, I can see all kinds of fun stuff about that. If there's anything like Revit type, like I need to have like the name, I can come in here. But I can come through here and I can review all of this stuff.
Why don't I have element in mine? I have element ID, but
Yeah, pick on that ductwork right to the south of that light blue one.
Yeah, it's going to be yes. So I just clicked on installation there.
Yeah, mine's the same way as Dave. I don't have that either.
It's because you're picking on.
Click left and right, and let's see if element for me pops up.
I'm a little
I
late
don't
to the
have
game.
all that stuff loaded.
I have item, timeliner, element ID.
Same.
You might have to change the arrows left and right.
Yeah.
I came kind of late to the game here.
No, I don't have arrows. I just have 3.
Okay.
Might be the,
Tim,
might
I
be the
think
item.
we need a template or something loaded.
Might be the item you
Options.
selected to. Each item has a different set of values. The DX pipe, is that not part of the model? I can ignore that.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, let's see here. Definitions. Sorry, I'm going through and I'm trying to remember the exact button that I need to pick to get the element I guess stuff to show up, so bear with me.
I see. If you select on it, Jeff, or to tell you what the fix is, and then you go in your selection tree and go up one level, then you check your properties again. So it's not going high enough or something.
Yeah. So the other way to check that is let's everybody for right now. Let's click on an object, right click on it, and then set the selection resolution to first object.
Perfect. That's awesome. Yep. I got to save that.
Yep, that did it.
Okay. So let's talk about that for a second. Okay. So if I click on this right here, then it's going to give me different things than the conduit with fitting, right? So you can see there's all these different options here. You can set it to the layer, to the first object, to the last object, to geometry. I always keep it on first. Sometimes I have to switch it to last. Depends on how the model is, where the model came from. But typically the first one is the best because that's going to give you the most information.
Are any of those others worth talking about?
Yeah, let's just play with them, see what they do. Okay, so if I set it to file, then that's gonna, if you look right here, it's gonna pick the entire file. Okay, so you can know, I guess, which file you clicked on. If you pick layer, it'll do just the entire layer of that. So like all of the conduit, none of the conduit fittings, just all of the conduit. Okay. If you do first object, that's again that's the, I guess, right below the layer. That's the actual object. The last object, that's the that'll be right in here. The little whatever this is, the part, the pieces are the part. Let's see if, and then if you pick to geometry, again that's going to take you right to that one too. So sometimes there's like there's a sub part inside of here. So right now, last object and geometry are the same, but typically that's not the case. Let's see if that happens whenever I click on this on like another object. So yeah, see right there, yeah. So
the things that kind of trip us up are probably similar to that, where we've got it insulated, but we don't need to know the insulation data. We need to know what's being insulated. So we would have to hide the insulation and select again, I would think.
Yeah. So there we go. I think probably that the insulation's going to be there. That's gonna hurt us a little bit. Let's see. Let's see here. That's gonna be a little bit tough. We'll have to come up with a way to figure that out here. Okay, hold on one second. Well, here's what I'm thinking here. I'll see. We'll probably take a break at 10:30. I'll try to think of. I'll see if I can come up with a better way for this. But I think what we'll do is we'll create, at the very worst, an installation search set so that you can turn it on and off really quickly. And then
I think that would be good.
So we'll do that. I'll see if I'll be kind of thinking between now and then whether or not if there's anything else that I can do. Okay, so we've got that. So I think what I want to kind of take a shot at doing here is so you guys have size, system, abbreviation, material. I want to do let's just see here. I want to be able to know what the bottom elevation is. I want to know, if possible, I want to know, let's see, the name of the object. So, or the mark maybe. So, like if I'm clicked on a VAV, pardon me, I want to know. Let's see, where is it? There we go, right here. The mark number. Let's see what else. Let's see, steel. Let's see if I click on steel. Is there anything that I need to know there? I guess the type maybe. Let's see. Let's just look at architectural walls here. I don't think that's something that we've really taken too deep a look at. Let's see if we can. I'm looking to see type, just a sound partition. Okay, so yeah, so I think the type will work there. So what I would want to do with the walls is basically I would want to check and see if it was a firewall or whatever. Let's see, is there anything else? Let's look over here on this side. See if there's like windows or anything. Okay, I think that's okay for right now. So I think what we're going to try to set up are size, system, abbreviation, material, bottom elevation, name or mark, and type. Okay, so to set up our quick properties, first make sure that you've got them turned on. So come over here to the Home tab. Make sure that the Quick Properties button is blue. Then to set them up, let's pick the Selection Inspector. Okay, and when Selection Inspector comes up, basically we're going to see right here what we've got selected. We'll be able to see all kinds of fun stuff about it. But let's pick. Let's then click on the Quick Property Definitions here. Okay. So click on.
Hey, hang on. Where's that? Where's that Selection Inspector?
Yeah, right here. This little guy.
All right.
So the smallest button in Navisworks, the smallest, most inconspicuous one that there is. So Home tab, come to the Select and Search, then pick Selection Inspector. The smallest, dinkiest, probably one that you've never clicked on.
Right.
So a lot of times people use the Selection Inspector, like they'll just select a whole bunch of things. I'll kind of show you how it works here. So if I select, these things, basically what people do, or I've seen people do, I personally did not do this, but it was kind of a cool way to go about it. They would pick one item in their, in all of their clashes, and they would go through, and they would create a selection set of those items, and then basically, if once I do that, I'll take this a little bit off screen, but basically I can go click, and it'll take me to that spot. So it's kind of a different way of doing, instead of doing viewpoints, it's a different way to navigate around the model. Okay. I typically don't use it because I'm already creating the viewpoint and marking it up and stuff. So I never used it, but I can see the value in it. If you need to get around a model quickly, I did actually use it for a presentation that I was doing with NASA actually a couple of months ago, because there were specific items that needed to have these specific properties in them. So we went around and we just touched every single one of them, and I rolled over it, and then we knew. So anyway, again, you pick the Selection Inspector. When that happens, this comes up. Then what we're going to want to do is pick Quick Property Definitions. Okay, and so when that comes up, a new this options editor. I guess menu is going to come up. So all I'm going to do, I guess I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to first I'm going to export mine out. Okay, so I'm going to export Quick Property. Where are you? Okay, where is it? Why isn't it? Links. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to export that out, and I'll just hit OK. So I'll do that right here. I'll actually put it on my desktop. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clear out all of mine. Okay, great. So I've got right now I have 0 quick properties. You guys may have some, you guys may not have some. If you have them, then great. If not, no big deal. So let's hit plus a couple of times here. Okay? Everybody following along? So if you had any, you don't have to delete them. I'm just deleting them just so I can show you what a blank slate looks like and how you create them. Okay? So I hit add about 4 times. So let's just actually do it. Let's see. We said we were going to do size, system, abbreviation, material. That's 4. Bottom elevation, name and mark, and type. So let's just do 7. 7 should be enough for us to learn how to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8. Okay, so I'll just delete 1.
Yeah, I just imported our template again. We originally had abbreviation of the service name, and size, so it'd be nice to add some others to it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so same thing. If you needed to import, then you could just import here and then find it, and then it'll bring it in there. But also, it's going to save this. This is kind of like a system setting that we're setting up here. So this should go from project to project. Okay. So if you've got it set up on your system, then it should work. Okay. Because you could see the ones that I had before, they were coming from a different project. So right now, all that we're searching for is names. Okay, so this is also kind of an introduction to search sets, because we're going to come back in. We're going to create a boatload of search sets here in the next hour. But basically, what we're trying to do is we just want to find a specific property, and when we roll it over, we want to know what it is. Okay, so you guys said we'll start with category, and I'll pick element, because that's probably where we're gonna go, and I'll go down here to B for bottom, and I'll pick okay, B. We'll just pick bottom elevation. Okay, so if you look right here, there's 3 different bottom elevations. Okay, so that's kind of annoying. But
yeah, I would see that a lot. So you have to trial and error.
Yeah. So basically, what I do whenever that happens is I just create 3 of them that that all match the same thing. Okay, so that I know that I'm getting. So let's just say C. Oops. So bottom elevation. So there's the second one. And then, oops. Then here's the third one.
So even though we only want 7 categories, we've got to add 2 more right away, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, we're probably going to need to do
that. So that we can get all 3 of them.
That's what I would do, so that if there is an instance where you need the bottom elevation and you can't get it, you're not frustrated, and then you don't have to measure. I'm trying to for me, what these do is they save me 5 seconds here, 10 seconds there, and it really saves me a lot of energy during the meeting, because I'm not gonna, the question always is asked, well, what are we looking at? Where are we at? How big is that duct? Whatever, if I've got those questions answered just by rolling over it, then, I just say, I'll just roll over and I'll say, there it is, brother. And then they, we're in good shape.
I think in the past I've also had the name of the file too.
That's a good call.
That's always asked. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's do that. So let's see. So we've got the bottom elevation. we'll do the type. So element. So I'll just pick element, and then type. T. Okay, so there's two types. So again, I'll just hit E for element, and I'll pick U, and then I'll come type. Okay. So there's the type and the bottom elevation. And then we'll go with, here we'll go with the category again. That's going to be element. So I'm just clicking E. And then the next one is mark. So M. So element, mark. Okay, great. There's only one mark. So fantastic. So we're in good shape there. Okay. So those were all the ones that I suggested. So bottom elevation, name and mark, type. Now let's go with material. So that would probably be element again. And then material. Material abbreviation or material? Which one do you guys typically use?
I don't know if either of those come up with anything.
Okay, so well, show me. Well, in a second, once we can't get any further from where we are,
Yeah.
we'll go back in and I'll show you like basically where I'm getting these from. Okay. So let's see. So abbreviation, right? So where's the abbreviation? Is that like in the is that in the element properties or?
So I think the things that are important to us as we're modeling it are element, category, fabrication, service, abbreviation. Under property.
Okay.
Fabrication, service, yep. And then nearby that, another one, element, fabrication, service, name.
Okay.
And then element size.
Okay. There it was, element size. Okay. So element, what did I do there? So element mark. Material. Maybe this one was material. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna hit OK here. You guys stay in there, okay? But let's just do that. So now when I roll over this, I can see. I should be able to see what's going on. I don't know why it's not doing it yet. There we go. So I can see the element mark, the type. Sometimes it's giving me a double one right there, but that's okay.
Yeah, this is where we'd like to look past the insulation. You either got to fly into it or hide the insulation.
Yeah, so we'll do that here in a second, okay?
Yep.
No matter what, I would have had, I'd rather do this first just so that whenever we're clicking on something, we know what we're looking at. The ideas here is okay. So let's see what else. What else did you say was just material, right? So where are you taking that one from? Is that one like?
Yeah, so I don't think material shows up with much of anything, but if you go to and we have different types of parts in here, but try to pick one like a pipe or a duct.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then go to element.
Pipe. That's probably the most obvious. Element. Okay.
Yeah, because like with duct, you'll want to know if it's galvanized, stainless, black iron.
Yeah. So you have to basically go through the parameters, and these are assigned by the database. So if it's not right in the database, then it won't be right here. So sometimes we'll use the one part to mean something completely different.
just hide it for right now. Okay, so let's see here. So for duct.
So we just page through this until we find.
So right here, material abbreviation.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's go back there. So I'll go again. I'll hit selection inspector, quick property definitions. So I mean, make this a fluid list because you never know. I'll tell you for sure. Like every you guys know every project is different, right? So there's going to be questions that people ask on one project that you may never hear asked again, right? So let's see, material abbreviation. There we go. So if you keep getting asked a certain question on one project, just make it a quick property, and then you don't have to look at it. You don't have to think about it, or you've just got that guy's question answered every time. If then for the next project, if they don't ask it, then you can take it off. I mean, make this a fluid list. I think what we've got here is going to be pretty helpful. Again, I like having the bottom elevation on there because if the file's going to tell it to me, then I don't have to measure. So that's going to save me, 10 to 15 seconds at least every time if I can just look at it and know, okay, that's the elevation that it is off of the ground.
Plus, something to cross-check too if you're reporting something and measuring something different.
Yeah, correct. So let's just let's keep it at this, and maybe the last one that I guess I would have is let's just make it item names so that we know, we've got the very top thing on there. So let's do that one for the top one, so that always at the top we know that what we're looking at is a piece of duct or whatever. Okay, and that's just the default one. So once we've got all those in there, we've got what, like 10, 12, something like that. We'll just hit OK. And then I want you guys to kind of play around with it, and I want to see if all that stuff comes up. So if the object doesn't, so take a look at this as I'm rolling over some of these. Like some of them have 3. This one just has 1. The insulation just has 1. Some of them are going to have a ton.
I got a question. I'm not getting that yellow box popping up when I roll over my items. Is there a way to have that? You're not clicking on it.
No, I'm just rolling over. Make sure that you've got quick properties turned on right here. So
yeah, we got quick properties on. Yeah, it's highlighted.
Hit double escape and then click off or click off into the black space and then see if you can roll over. Click on something maybe and then click off of it and then see if it works. Because for me, the first time that I did it, I had to do that. It could be too that you're clicking on the insulation and the only thing that the insulation had was the item name, which is the last thing that I created.
Okay, yeah, it is working on other things. All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So I mean, this is helpful for, again, I think this is going to save you a ton of time if you guys aren't using these already, just because when you're scrolling through, you don't have to say, okay, what the hell is this? Or what VAV is this? You just roll over it and you roll over it and you can see this is VAV 2A-3. So you know that immediately. So you can just come in here and, for instance, I'll give you an example. I always like creating my views looking north and in plan view. So if I needed to know if I needed to mark this one up, so this is VAV 1B-1. So I'll just come down here and I will come and I'll create a viewpoint and I'll mark some stuff up.
I get a conversation now and then about room names, so it'd probably be a good case for actually having rooms exported and hovering over it.
Yeah, let's do that as well. Why don't we see if I want to see if let's see if it tells you what room it's in or rooms.
I think that's an actual export that needs to come from the model.
Okay.
And I don't think we do it historically. But
well, I personally don't like doing it because the tops of the rooms make it a pain in the ass to select
we're
things.
constantly hiding them.
Yeah.
A lot of times, what I'll do is I'll export the room names in the CAD, just put the CAD file in there, and elevate it to like 1 inch below the slab.
That makes sense too. That's a good way to. That's what I did too. I would just put the CAD drawing on there, like the floor plan CAD drawing, and I would put that right above the slab. So then I knew what I was looking at. I like that. That's a pretty good solution. So we'll just say.
Okay. You can change the color to black. That way it sticks out real well. I didn't do it on this job. It's black on this.
How do you change the elevation from metric to feet and inches?
Yeah, okay, I'll show you that too. So if you're having an issue with that, let's go to options. Then we'll go to display units. And then so options, then pick interface display units. So it's probably going to be like that. So expand it, pick display units, and then pick whichever one you want. Typically, what I just would do is feet, but it seems like the rest of the world always did feet and inches fractions. But I was always taught, the decimal.
Yeah.
We usually do feet, inches, fractions, and eighths inch.
Yeah, that does. And I would never have any more than 3 decimal places because that's, you can't measure it in the field anyway if it's past.
Quarter of an inch is plenty for us.
So then maybe for you guys, the fractional precision should be 1/4 of an inch.
Don't jump out of that. Go to click on, because I just installed 19 on a bunch of these guys. See where it says model and performance, guys? Down below model plus and then
Right
performance.
Oh.
Make sure you have closed NWC checked.
Yes, yeah, that was something that I actually had a ticket on that yesterday, so I helped the guy do that. So if you don't remember, basically all that's going to do is whenever you export something from CAD or whatever, or from Revit, then what that's going to do is you don't have to close your Navisworks file to update a file.
I just had to do that on 2 new guys we just installed Navisworks on. That's why I had to leave and come back. I know I just got 19 new guys.
Interface.
That has to happen every time you get a new computer or a new
version. Yeah, every year I forget to do it, and then then it burns me at some point.
Do we really need the 3 decimal places?
No, you don't. You could have 2.
But if we're doing fraction or feet, inches, and fractions, that's not going to apply, is it?
Well, I mean,
degrees
yes, it will,
would.
because it would be like 0.3 or 0.2 or whatever, So it would, if it was like 1/4 of an inch.
0.25.
Yeah, like these values up here on the right, some of them don't come in feet and inches.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if he changes that back to 3 decimal places, watch on the right there. See him go to 3.
Yeah.
The properties menu.
We do 3?
Just leave it as default.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see. We'll measure here. We'll see if. All right. Okay. So we've got our quick properties set up. So what we're going to do next is we're going to create search sets and some selection sets. Okay. So if looking at quick properties, basically all we're doing is it's really pretty similar to the quick properties. Like we're trying to find a specific. We're trying to group our items together using the properties of the model. Okay. So if you guys would, what I would like you guys to do is let's set your desktop up, or your your workspace up so that it looks basically like this. If find items is over here on the left, don't worry about it. But let's make sure that we have the properties tab open, the find items tab, and then the sets. Okay. And again, if yours is, mine's at the bottom for some reason. If yours is on the side, don't worry about it. You're in good shape. But we just need the sets, the find items, and the properties open.
Where do I add that find items from again?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So go to the View tab,
View.
Windows, and then find items. We're also going to want to have sets on. So sets, find items, properties. So they're all three.
I don't see it. Find items. There it is. I'm gonna put it at the bottom.
Yeah. Put mine.
Yeah, for me, it flew off outside the window. So.
Yeah, mine did too.
Okay. Reminder: if for some reason they're off like this, just double click on the little menu name and it'll dock it. Then if you want to pin it, obviously you hit the pin button. Okay, so let's do first things first here. So we've got insulation, right? So let's click on that. So I could go to the element property. I could go. Let's see if we go to item. What's it say? So I could go to either type, or I could go to element. Okay. I say we use the element property. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that probably makes sense. Why do you have stuff in parentheses?
I don't know. Like that's it. I clicked on something a long time ago, and I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what I did. I'm sure that it's one of the, like, if I were to come in here and click these on and off, one by one.
Developer option or something.
But then it also would take away a couple of these. It would take them away. So I'm fine with just, I'm fine with what I got with dealing with the gobbledygook right there. But anyway, okay, so we've got the element in there. So I kind of agree with you. I say we do the element type, or the element here. So element, and then
category.
Yeah, element category is what we're going to search. Okay, so basically what we're doing here is, like I said, we're creating these items, or these search items that are going to group things together. Okay. So what we're probably going to do, we're going to do insulation, cable tray, duct. Let's see, maybe round duct, rectangular duct, oval duct. Maybe we'll do supply air, return air, exhaust air, outside air. Okay. We'll do different types of, different, I guess, we'll do conduit, we'll do cable tray, we'll do firewalls, okay? So we're going to try to group all that stuff together. So the way to do it, we're going to start with insulation, because we're going to want to hide that one probably the most. So I just clicked on it, and then I came over here. You could either go to your item property, and it says that it's insulation there, or you could go to your element property. So I'm just going to pick my element property. So what we want to do is we want to say, okay, the category is element, and actually let's make these a little bit wider. Okay, so the category is element. So I'm trying to find everything with the category element. The property is category. So C. Here we go. So element category contains, and we're going to say, okay. So I always put I always use contains rather than, if you look right here, there's equals, not equals, contains, wildcard, defined, undefined. I like always using contained because it hold on, I'm about to sneeze again. Whew, pollen. Wow. Okay, so I like to use contains because you guys are probably at a better spot than most people, but typically, people don't name things consistently from one project to another. But if you guys are modeling the ductwork, the plumbing, maybe even the uh, the conduit or the cable tray, then you guys are going to have consistent models with all of that stuff, and so you're not going to have to tweak your search sets very often. So this is going to save you a whole lot of time. So element we're searching for the element category that contains insulation. So I'm just going to type in insulation. So I could go in and search for it down here in the values, but I'm just typing it in. Okay.
One thing too, Michael, it's got to be typed in exactly like it shows in that preview with the capital I.
Yeah, well, so I'm going to actually prevent that, okay? So let's come down here and let's look at these right here. So like I was saying, sometimes people call insulation capital I in insulation. Some people don't put a capital letter in there. Some people do all caps, okay? You're gonna find this especially with the walls from architects. These architects name their stuff the way, there's no set naming convention. They do it however they want. Okay? So for me, if I just type in insulation just how it is there, then I'm going to catch it on all of my files. But what if some other idiot, uses all caps? So what I do is I turn off the match case right here. So I'm trying to make sure that I catch everything that's insulation. Okay? So make sure that you've just got the first two boxes checked up here.
Something else that came to mind, I don't want to take you off topic, but are we going to have time to go over the profiler?
The appearance profiler?
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll probably be next. So we'll probably try to do this for 30 minutes, and then we'll go and we'll leverage all of these search sets, in the appearance profiler.
You got it.
Okay. So I've got that right there. Okay, so we've got our first search set that we've created. So we're looking for the element. So that's for right here, and the element category. And we're looking for everything that has the element category that contains the word insulation. Okay. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit find all right here. So when I do that, you can see it tells me that there's 4685 items that have insulation on them. Is everybody getting a similar number?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so we're seeing 4685. So let's come over here to our sets tab and let's hit the binoculars. Do not hit the square and the circle, hit the binoculars. Okay? So we'll hit binoculars and we'll call this insulation.
Just to be clear, you would have had match case turned off, correct?
Yes. Oh shoot, yeah. So I'll do that.
We still got the same result, but
find all, and then I will update. There we go. Yeah, I don't know why it turned it back on. That's interesting. Okay, so we've got that. Okay, so if I click on this one, it's going to select all of it. Okay, so now I can hide it. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about these. Okay, so why are we doing these? Well, let's talk about search sets and selection sets. Okay, so there's two different types of sets that you can create. You can create a search set, which is what we just did, or you can create a selection set. So let's say for some reason I just needed, these walls right here. I could select them all. And then, let's see, roll this a little bit. Oh, shoot. There we go. So, like, for some reason, if maybe I couldn't find a unifying element between all of these items right here. If I needed to do that, I could just like select them and then hit the save selection, and we'll just call this random items. Okay. So if I need to group some things a certain way, but I can't really figure out a way to do it, then I can just create a selection set. Okay. So notice the difference in the icons here. So one's got a binoculars, and then the other one is like a squared circle or a circled, a square inside of a circle. So important thing to realize about these. The reason that search sets are so powerful, you can save these and then export them, and you can use them on any project. Okay, and so then when you bring them in, basically what it's going to do is it's going to say, okay, I'm going to search for everything with the element category that contains the word insulation, and then it'll find all of everything that has that property. Okay, does that make sense? So search sets can be used from project to project. So if you've got a good set of them, then basically you can you can kind of manage your document, or you can manage you can manage everything easier. Okay, makes sense? Any questions so far? Okay. Let's see. So now let's create another one. So let's do. I'm going to create another one here. So we'll do here. I'll just do item. The property is going to be type, and the condition is contains, and we're just going to say room. Okay. So now we're going to want to find all of the rooms. So we've got that. I'll hit find all. There's 1,992 items. Let's see. All right. So I'll come back over here and I'll hit the binoculars again, and we'll call this rooms. If I come over to my... Go ahead.
Where did you see the quantities that it caught?
It puts it in the properties tab right here.
Oh, okay.
So you may not know how many there are. So maybe you will, maybe you won't. But so let's see, item. Okay, so that should do that. So same thing. It basically, I created these two first because if I need to turn things on or off, then I can do that. Because those are the I guess the most typical things that you're going to want to turn on and off. So I created those first. So let's actually do that with the installation. Let's just click our search set there. That's going to select everything in the set, and then we'll hit Control H to hide it. Okay. So one, they give you access. Two, it groups things together. All right. So I guess what other search sets, with this in mind, do you think we should create? I personally think we should create some search sets that tell us what or that group all of the same fabrication service type together. So let's just do that. So let's say fabrication service name. So let's create another one there. So I'll do element, because we're looking at the element property here, and then the category is fabrication service name, and then the condition is contains, and so we'll say supply. Okay, make sure that the match case is turned off, and then hit find all. So it's showing me 5,434 items. I'll hit save search, and we'll call this supply error. Okay, so let's look here. So green, what's this one? Element.
Exhaust. EA.
Where is it? Oh, EA, abbreviation.
Exhaust air.
And where's the name? So it'd just be exhaust. Okay, so same thing. So I don't really have to change too much for this next one. So element fabrication service name contains, we'll just say, okay. So again, I could pick all this stuff out of here if I wanted to, but I'm just going to pick exhaust because I'm trying to create a catch-all here. So I do that, 653 items, hit the binoculars. Okay, same thing. You know, maybe I can come down here. Okay, so we've got outside and return, so I'll just type outside. Find all, 239.
Quick question. It gives us a quantity and properties.
Yes.
Additional data we could get out of it. Like if I wanted to know a different property for the set, could I find that data? Like for example, like the outside air, I think a majority of them have like a length. Could I total up the lengths or something?
Yeah, we'll be able to do that. We'll try to do that in the last hour with quantification.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so let's see. So value, this one would be return. Find all. Binoculars. Okay, let's see. Are there any other ones that? Okay, so we'll do transfer.
Low pressure supply too.
Well, okay. So should I do a medium and okay, I'll do that.
I think the first one was a medium, the one you did originally.
Okay.
Enough you can edit.
No, it was all of it, just supply.
I think it was all of it too. So let's see. Let's see. We'll do find all. Okay, so LPS basically. So contains. And then MPS. All right. So since I'm here, let's see, we've got chilled water return and supply and condensed water return and supply. So I'm just going to go ahead and create that one too. Okay, so the condensed one kind of brings me to a point. I wonder if I just typed it in wrong. Oh, condenser. Okay, so condensed. Okay, so let's say that let's do that. So we'll create one here in a second that does that. So condenser water supply. And then I'll do that one. And okay, so we've got those in there. Let's see, is there anything else? So we've got those 4 in there. All right, so let's say there's another one that maybe we want. Maybe we've got med gas. Okay. So if I were to click that right here, I hit find all, it's going to tell me that no objects are found. Okay. But if I know that that's the way that you name med gas. By the way, how do you name med gas? Is it medical gas? Like, how do you guys typically do that for your service name?
It'll be by the.
It should just say medical, I think. It's part of it.
So
there's
medical.
a couple of others, like there's
Some.
breast air or whatever.
Okay, so let's just say for argument that that's what it is. It has the word medical in it, right? So you hit find all. It says no objects found in this model because this isn't a hospital, right? That's fine. If you hit save here, then basically, you know, I can see that right there. Okay, hold on one second. All right.
It's interesting how the sets window and the find items window are tied to each other.
Yeah. Oh, do you have them like where they're different tabs right here?
No, I guess what I'm getting at is if you click something in your sets, it modifies what's in find items. So if you click insulation on your sets, that category thing all changes. Find items window updates.
Yeah.
Well, you could narrow it out.
Tree as well.
Yeah.
But when you make a set, if you first find items and then you eliminate and say, I don't want to do plumbing insulation, I only want duct insulation, you could deselect it, right? So technically you could have 2 installations, a plumbing installation, a duct installation, or as many as you want, I should say.
Yeah, so let's do that actually right now. Let's break that up twice, okay? So I'll turn this one back on. So I guess, is there a way for me to tell if it's so work set is in mechanical, maybe that's one way. Let's look at the element properties or element.
I think there's an actual name.
Work set would probably be easiest because that's how we have different work sets in Revit for systems.
Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so let's do so here let's create a second line item. So we could just say, well, no. So we want to find just the mechanical ductwork insulation, right? So we'll start with our insulation one. So let's just click on that one. Let's modify this one. Okay, so we'll say, okay, we want to find. So what we're saying first, we want to find all of the insulation. We're going to create a second line here, and we're going to say we want to find all of the insulation that has this other category. So element. What was it? It was
work set.
So W. So element work set contains. We'll just say mech. Okay. So basically what it's doing here, we're saying, okay, we want to find all of the insulation. Now we want to find, of all the insulation objects, we want to find just the ones that have the work set name that contains mech. Okay, so if I hit find all there, it should find less objects. So I'll hit save here. Let's see if that was the case. No, for some reason it found all of them. It does the pipe.
You mech duck on that one. So.
Okay. So
yeah, you might change that to pipe or something.
Yeah, do duck and pipe maybe.
Okay. So let's see if that changes it.
It doesn't matter the whole job at the same time mechanical.
Let's see. Let's click here. Let's see if we can find. We've got to see if we can find a property that does it for us.
Do piping.
Where
the last
is
one do piping instead of duct, do piping because there's
okay.
a separate work set that says piping.
Let's do that. Let's see if that's different. Okay, there we go. So that's this one. Okay, pipe. Got it right here. So this one is okay. So here we go. So we've got so we'll do that. Okay, so right here. So again, what we're doing is we're saying, okay, we want to find all of the insulation. Then we're going to break that down. All of the insulation that has a work set that has PIP in it. Okay, so if I do that, I hit search and we'll say pipe insulation. I'll delete this one. Okay, so we've just got that one selected. So now let's use this one again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on this second line item. And my computer is freaking out right now. Let me just close Revit so that start closing stuff. Okay, there we go. So let's see, is it working? Maybe I need to turn my mouse off. There we go. Element work set contains. Okay, so what we did there is we're dividing things up. So now let's say we don't want to do that. We want to I guess because mechanical and then mechanical piping, it has the same word in it, so there's not really a good way for us to divide it out. What we can do is we can say, okay, we want to find all of the insulation whose element work set property does not contain the lettering PIP, right? And the way to do that, you right click on the second line item, and you come down here and you pick negate condition. Okay. So again, I right clicked on it and I picked negate condition. So you can see it's selected here, it's checked. So
it would be nice if it showed you somewhere other than there that it's what its conditions are.
Yeah. Yes, that would. So when I do that, you can see that the pipe's not selected anymore over here. The ductwork is. So I'll hit that, and then we'll just call this duct insulation. Okay, so I've got that broken down if you need it. No.
How would you handle something like most of the stuff you're working on that we drew was in Revit? The fire sprinkler and the plumbing was drawn in AutoCAD.
Okay, where is the sprinkler? I'm not. Well, let's just look right in here.
Red pipe.
The red, right? Okay, great question. So let's click on that. There's a hot water. Let's see. Okay, there's a.
That's like right there. Yeah.
I'm looking to see if they've got like a main somewhere. That looks.
There's a main to your right. Yeah, that's the main right there.
Okay. Attributes. Okay, so for this one, that's a great question. So let's come over here to attributes here. So if we want to do that one, I'll just delete both of these. So we'll start and we'll just delete all conditions. And then I'll say, okay, so now we want to go to attributes. Why is attributes not showing up? That's weird. There we go, attributes. Then the property that we're looking for is general category. The condition is contains, and we'll say so I'll hit find all. Oh, I guess that makes sense. That's the hot water pipe. Okay, so we do that, and we can say, okay, that's FP.
Question: if new NWCs get loaded into the model, does it automatically update sets?
Yes.
Or do you got to rerun these?
The search sets, yeah, it'll automatically run them. So if I was to bring in another file, and I clicked on this, so right now it says there's 9,413 items. If we were to bring in a second one, or if I was to delete one of these models from here, then the number would change. That's the beautiful thing about search sets, is that it's searching a property. It's not looking for something. It's looking for something like a specific property. So you can take these from one project to another, and you're going to get the values that you need.
Question: so right there in your selection tree, you got Arthrex office building dash with a date. If that date is changed, it will not find it again. Like, you got to run it. If you deleted that and inserted a new one with a different date at the end,
yeah,
it would still find everything.
Yeah, it would still find everything as long as the properties were the same.
Yeah, and as long as you're not searching for something in that file and use that as
like,
your
let's say,
search.
yeah. So let's say they came through here and they changed the general category to FP system or something. Then it wouldn't
typically
find it.
that doesn't happen. We just have a lot of, sometimes the general contractors, they want us to put a date behind every file. And so I'm just looking for where it could break. I'm not a fan of the dates behind
Me neither.
an NWC. But I just wanted to know if that was going to break this whole thing. If
No.
all of a sudden we uploaded same files. Well, how would it know it's the same name? So that the name doesn't matter?
The name of the
And the
file
file-
doesn't
if I
matter. All that
deleted-
it's looking for is it's trying to find everything that has that unifying element that we're finding in these search that we're defining here in these sets.
So it's not particularly looking in AA-L2MD.NWC. It's going to look for any file that's in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's doing that across all of them. You can see you
Like
could just select
clashes.
one. Yeah. Pardon?
Okay. Now, I was just thinking, like clashes, if we run a clash report and then they upload an NWC with a different date, the current way I do it, which may be wrong, I have to run all new clashes. It doesn't automatically update because the file name is changed.
That may still happen here, but I mean, basically, you're using the search sets. I mean, you're not going to have to reset the clash up. Okay.
Okay.
I'll be honest.
I see what you're saying.
I'll be honest. I haven't tested it like that in a while, so I can't remember. But the search set, you won't have to recreate it. Okay.
But this is very easy for us to make a standard template and bring it into all of our jobs, and it doesn't matter. It'll catch 95% of what we want.
Yeah, and you may have to change things up. On occasion, like, well, you'll definitely
the values,
have to, some of the values up, depending on the. See here, I'm looking to see if we can. Do you know if there are any firewalls in this building? But yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to switch them up sometimes, some of them. But like, the good thing is that you guys are doing ductwork and the piping, right? Do you guys do electrical as well?
Yeah, we did electrical on this one too.
Okay, so conceivably, you guys are doing
Too
3
much
trades, right? So you guys can control 75% of it, you know? You can't control the steel, you can't control the architectural stuff, but you can control the MEP systems, you know? So, so these are going to be even more useful to you because you guys aren't going to change your naming convention, you know? So,
Understood. Thank you.
uh-huh. Okay, so let's start going through and let's do a couple of the other trades here. Well, I'm going to try to get out of this in the next 5 or 10 minutes, but let's just do. So I roll over this. This is it says it's cable tray, so I'll just do one that is item. We'll just make this simple item. Name contains cable tray. Okay. So I hit find all. That you can see I was happy with that. Like it also caught the fittings. So we'll do that right there. So I'll save that and we'll call it. Okay, now I'll pick this right here. So conduit. Okay, so here same thing. I'll just do I'll do type here just for the fun of it. Item type contains. Okay, so conduit. I'll hit find all. Okay, so we'll do another one. Type contains light. Find all. Lights. Okay. Did anybody that worked on this, does anybody know if there are firewalls in this? There
Around
are
the
2 hours.
shaft.
There we go. Got it. Okay. So now let's create some firewall sets. Okay. So I can see right here they've got the parentheses 2 hours. So we'll go right here. We'll just say item type contains, and then
Just put HR in there, so it give me every one of the firewalls.
yeah. So I'm gonna do I just want to see how many they've got in here. So let's see. Walls. I'm not seeing the. Oh, whatever. I can see it right there. It's a parentheses 2 hours. So I'm going to type 2-2-hour. Okay, so here's probably one that you're going to have to change every single project that you ever create. Okay, because one guy's going to name his 2 hour walls 2-HR. One's going to name it 2 capital HR. One's going to put a space. One's going to say 2, maybe even write out TWO space HOUR, right? They're all over the place with this. And each architectural each architectural company names their walls differently. But let's just say we're looking for 2 hour here. So we'll do that. I'll hit find all, and then we'll save it. So we'll call this 2 hour firewalls. Okay, so I don't know if there's a 1 hour in here, so I'll just do 1-HR as well. Hit find all. No objects found. Oops. I will delete you. So find all again. Okay, so 1 hour.
Yeah, you do it.
Okay.
Still says 2-HR.
Oh, it did? Oh. Thank you. So I will. Let's say we created one erroneously. If you need to update it, you just right click on it and hit update. So now if I click on one or click on the other one, see it's different here. Okay, so next I'm gonna hit. I'm gonna do a 3-HR.
You could duplicate too, couldn't you?
Yeah. And so again, same thing. Okay. Let's see, what else? I'm going to go down here to walls. Okay, so maybe I'll just do sound here. Okay, so we've got that. So now let's, so it looks like you guys have a specific color for your mechanical equipment, or you've got something, you know, so let's do that as well. So I'll create another one for that. So item, and then the type is mechanical equipment. So I'll say, I'll do that, find that, and then save it. Let's see what else. I saw that there was hot water and cold water piping in here. What are you?
Yeah, that was drawn by someone else. Their conduit, their AutoCAD stuff.
Okay. So if I click on this dude, okay, so I'll just do, so here, this one, the way that this one works, it would be item, the item property that I'm looking for is layer. So item layer. So again, we're picking this one right here. So item layer, and then I'm going to put in contains gravity. So I'll hit find all, and we've got our gravity piping. Okay, so I'll click over right here. This is cold water. Let's see if we've got any other better. We don't. What's the AutoCAD? Nope. Okay, so here layer contains water cold, find all. Okay, so now this one is water hot. Find all. See, is there anything that I'm missing? Storm? Where's a storm drain? Do you know?
There's a riser in the mechanical room to your left.
A riser?
Yeah. That purple pipe.
The purple.
Right in the middle of
okay.
it. Yep.
Okay, there we go. So here we'll do that. Find all. All right, I think that's pretty good. Anything else that you guys want me to create a search, like a bunch of search sets for, or a search set?
I'm interested to see how we can use these other than, you know, just hiding elements or groups of elements.
Okay, I'll show you. Okay, so that's exactly what we're going to roll into here. So let's just, I think hopefully you guys have a pretty good understanding of how to create these now. Hopefully you guys were following along. We created a million of them. So now, how the heck can we use these? So let's get into some fun things. First thing we're gonna do an appearance profiler. Okay. So everybody, if you can, let's go to the View tab. Make sure that the right down here, the Appearance Profiler tab is turned on. And then let's once it's on, then let's pin it. Then let's hide the rest of these fellas. We'll just have sets and the Appearance Profiler turned on. So is everybody where I am?
Yes.
Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to set up an appearance profiler. Okay. And by the way, I'll send you guys both my sets XML file and my appearance profiler XML at the end of this. So if everybody didn't do all of them, no big deal. I'll send you the XML file, or I'll send whoever's on the invite the XML file, and then you guys can send it out. And then everybody will have the same, I guess, template file. Okay. But so you can create an appearance profiler by reviewing properties or by reviewing sets. Okay, so let's click on by set here and then hit refresh. And so when you do that, you'll notice that all of your objects, or all of the search sets, and even the one little lone selection set that we created, came through. Okay, so let's start with insulation. So maybe here we want insulation to be, we'll just say 75% transparent. So I've got it selected right here. I want the color of it to be transparent, and we'll make it gray. Okay, so if I do that, then I hit add, then it's going to bring it over here. Okay, everybody see what I did there? So I just clicked on the set that I wanted to add an appearance profile to. So I want this to be gray and 75% transparent. With rooms, I'm just going to do the exact same thing. All right. Supply air. Okay. So what color do you guys usually do supply air? Is that blue? Or no. Supply air would be, where's the round stuff in the, I don't see.
Light blue is the low pressure. Dark blue is the medium pressure.
Okay. So we'll go down here. So low pressure, we'll do that. So I'll say blue and completely opaque. So I'll add that one. Medium pressure is cyan. Let's see. What about exhaust? Where is that?
Green.
Green? Outside, what color is that?
It's like a golden. The next one over from the black.
This one?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. What about return?
Red.
Red.
Red. Red for R for return. Okay, got it. Makes sense. Transfer. What about those? Is that
Orange.
orange? Okay. What about the chilled water supply mechanical pipe?
Dark blue, and the return is light blue.
Oh, almost forgot. So let's say I accidentally created one. You just select it over here and hit delete, and it's going to go away. And then CWS, that's actually what I wanted to do there. So also, let's say I wanted to modify this one. So light blue, you said. If I wanted to update it, I click on it right here or right there, and then I hit update. Then it changes it. Okay. What about the condensed water supply and water return? What color is that typically?
Purple and pink. Yep, and the next one's just the color right above it. I have a profiler set up, but I don't have it set up as sets, so this is way faster.
Yeah. So med gas. What about that? Would that be like yellow or something?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay, so pipe. We'll skip those two since we already got insulation completely covered. So fire protection, orange. I usually do that one as orange or red. What do you guys do?
Red.
Red. Okay. Red makes sense. I always did orange because it That was what the color the couplings were. There we go. So, but red makes perfect sense. Cable tray, that's green.
I should usually do orange, but that's fine.
Oh, you do? Okay, so we'll do orange. That makes sense to me too.
Conduits are green.
Conduit are green.
Yeah.
Lights, what color? Usually I do those yellow. What do you do?
The top left color. The pinkish red.
Oh, okay.
Top left.
Oh, this one right here. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Firewalls. I usually do these red, 2 hours orange, 1 hour is yellow, and then sound partitions are kind of like a light blue. For mechanical equipment, you guys are obviously doing like this pink color, right?
Yep.
And then gravity piping is, what was it? Dark green?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's somebody else's color, so.
Where were you?
It was some sort of green color. It's a green color here in the middle.
Okay. Cold water, I'll just make that blue. Hot water, we'll make that red. Storm drain, you got that as like a purpley. Is that like that color? We'll do that color because we haven't done that one yet. Okay, so there we go. So we went through and we did this. Okay. So if I run it, then it's going to change the color of everything. We basically use the, okay, so there we go. So flex duct we didn't add, I guess, but basically you do that. Now I'll save this. I'll save this on my desktop here, and we'll call this okay. There we go. So you run it, it's going to change the colors of everything. You save it, it's going to save it. Okay, so if you guys are already using an appearance profiler, then you know whenever new stuff comes in, you can see, unless their colors are the exact same as yours, you can see what changed, what updated. So that's helpful so that you can kind of see at a glance, okay, these clashes were resolved this week, right? The annoying thing is that you have to rerun it every time that something changes, but it's annoying, but it's also kind of good at the same time, right? But to me, this one's easier than doing it the by property way, because you've already set up all the properties here. You've got it done, right? So we'll do that. So that's the appearance profiler. So that's one way that you can that sets can help you out. Okay. Next way, let's look at the clash detective here. Okay. So if you want to, you can get kind of granular with your tests here. So typically, I don't like doing sometimes I'm not really a fan of doing search sets in my tests, because I would just rather do one file against another one. I want to catch everything. But maybe you're working on a humongous file, or maybe you need to, maybe you can't do just mechanical versus electrical, because there's a ductwork person and there's a mechanical piping person. So you could just come through here, and maybe they're all in the same file for some reason. I don't know, but let's just look at that. Okay, so I'll create a couple of tests here, and so what you can do is I'll come here. We'll call this search sets test 1. Okay, so we'll pick this one. I'll hide that one. And then, so what I could do here is I could, typically what people do is just standard. It's like, this model versus that model, right? But what you can do is if you come down in here, you can say, okay, I want to do just the low pressure and medium supply, and I want to test that against the firewalls. So maybe you don't need to have, um, this is particularly helpful when you're doing architectural stuff because, as you know, when you do the architectural test, like it gives you a boatload of false positives, just of things penetrating through the ceiling or the floor or just a wall that's not a smoke or fire partition.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like that.
So you do that, you set up your tolerance however you need to, you run it, and then it's only going to give you the, those against that. So, okay, there's only one clash there, so, I can just run. I'll take a picture of that. Actually, I don't like doing it like that. I like doing it like this. The way that I always set my clashes up is, there we go. It's like that. So I will pick that one. I'll put it in a group. We'll say okay, so we'll do that. It's kind of annoying that it keeps going back. Okay, so I'll do that. Review. Mark this thing up. Okay, assign it. Okay, so there we go. So that's basically what I would do there. I guess let me ask you guys a question about Clash since I'm in it right now. Do you guys use the do you guys use the filter button? Any? Like when you're running these?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay.
Inclusive.
Yeah. Okay, good. Then I'm not gonna really go into that. That to me, that's the biggest time saver for me. Is I group it, and then I and then I hit inclusive, and then I drop everything into the same group, and then go from there. Okay. So yeah, so that's basically it there. So I'll do that one more time here. So we'll pick search sets 2. So we'll select something. So I'll go sets. So maybe we'll just do all of the piping. And we'll do that against all of the ductwork. New group. Only 17, man. You guys are rock stars. And they're probably all going to be.
Just equipment connections.
Okay.
This job's already done, so that's why.
Yeah, okay. So basically, I could go through there, look through all of them, review, blah blah blah. But my point is that you can leverage your search sets in Clash, in your appearance profiler, and then we can also do it in quantification or in like using animation, whatever. So there's that. So let's take a 10-minute break. Let's come back at 10:15. Okay, and then what we're going to work on next is we're going to very basically go over the quantification tool. Okay, we'll try to do that for an hour, and then the last hour we'll work on playing around with animation. Okay. And is there anything else? Let's see. I'm looking through here. Sets. Better use Clash. Saved viewpoints. Okay, so I guess I'll spend like basically what we'll do here is I'll spend like a half an hour on animation and scripting, and then we'll spend another half an hour on, I guess, maybe I can field some Clash questions, and maybe you guys can answer them first, and then if you want to defer to me, because I don't know your exact workflow, so I want you guys to follow the workflow that B and I does. But if you guys have any other questions, maybe I can walk through and help you with those. Okay, does that sound good for the next basically 2 hours? That's what we're going to do.
Sure.
Okay, cool. So I'll give you guys 10 minutes to go to the bathroom, do whatever you need to do, and I'll see you at 10:15. Okay. Should have done that when we stopped. Okay, so I have angered the computer gods on this one. I apologize for that. I'm wasting a little bit of time here. What can you do, though? Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so still going. So the way that we would probably take off the rectangular duct is it would be, you would divide it by I guess the square sheet of the sheet metal, right? So whatever that is, you would divide it out by that, right? So do you know like how big the biggest sheet of metal is that you guys would use?
Don't we use 60 by 120 unless they're decoiling for duct?
Correct.
Okay.
Hey, did any of you guys have the Jackson Memorial Mall open in 19?
On Navis?
Yeah.
No. I can open it, but
No, no, I just wanted to make sure because we're having issues with everybody else. I could get emails.
So is that inches or is that it's like 60 by 120? Is that inches or is that
Yeah, inches.
Okay.
So it's 5 foot by 10 foot sheets.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So there we go. So we've got all those in there. 14,000. Let's go to our item catalog and let's just say equals model area divided by 50 feet, right?
Yeah, that would give you how many sheets then, right?
Yep. So then you've got your sheet count for that. So again, to review, while this is going, the quantification workbook right here, basically that's where you select let's start from the right. So for the item catalog, you're gonna set this up and you're gonna pick all the different items that you want to take off. Okay, so you can create groups, you can create items, you can customize the work breakdown structure here. You can add a description if you want to. Even if you want to, you can pick the object appearance for when it's taken off. Okay. You always want to set the primary quantity to whatever, however you guys are purchasing, your objects, so that basically, all you have to do at the end of this is export out an Excel sheet, and then you can give that to your estimator or whatever, and then, you guys have a good starting point for, how to bid the job and all that fun stuff.
Let me quick question. When you go to quantification workbook, like on rectangular,
Yeah.
the weight category is zeroed. Is there a reason why?
Because I guess the weight information is not in the model, or it's not coming through in the model, I guess.
Yeah, it stems from the database.
So if it doesn't come in, then you're in trouble. But
I think it's in here. Hold on, let me see. Let me click on one.
It should be
Yeah.
weighted by like 26,
I got it
24,
in there.
22 gauge.
It may not be in the expected
That shows up as a
variable.
How do we fix that? Because I can click on a piece of duck and it tells me the one I clicked on is 141.04 pounds or
Look at
LBM.
Because those
That's a good
objects
question.
are not accurate.
The
The objects on the left shows a desk, a conference desk.
Okay, let's see.
They're rectangular, aren't they?
I think that took care of it.
Yeah, because we searched for rectangular. That's why.
Okay, so yeah, I'm not. I don't know how to change that. So let me see if I can look that up later today, and then if I can find it, then I'll get back to you.
In your list, can you go to a piece of ductwork as opposed to a piece of
It doesn't have
furniture?
It doesn't have
Oh yeah, I do have furniture in there, don't I?
And the round doesn't have the weight in there either. That's because we searched for rectangular in the family name.
Okay, so dang.
I think if we would have
freak out, like you got to build all the furniture.
Yeah, I know.
I think if we just searched only in that NWC file for the ductwork, we probably would have done it too instead of find all. We could have just click the two files.
Yeah, we probably need to do just like duct. Okay, so now there's mullion.
Yeah, are there any good resources that you're aware of? So if we want to follow up or dig a little deeper after this class, do you know of any books or blogs or videos on how to really polish out some quantity takeoffs?
I'll look that up and I'll send that to you as well.
Thank you. Yeah, see, those mullions aren't ours. So there's quite a few things in there that
Say they're glass.
which is no big deal. Without getting too, I think we were too generic.
Yeah.
Go back in your set. If you go back in your set and change your search into only the mechanical duct, it gets rid of everything. And you find items.
Yeah. So we'll go to find items here.
And to the left side, your search, only click the ductwork, the MD files on the left side.
There we go. I'll hit find all, and then I'll.
No, don't select the architectural. Go back there again.
Well, I want to be able to go through everything, but I will add duct onto the end of the name. That should probably do it. Find all, right click, update. So let's see there. So now if I let's see, where do
I just clicked my I'll take off again and updated it.
Did it take as long?
No. It didn't take as long. Oh, you click no, so it didn't update it.
Okay.
Click yes.
There we go.
Wow. Weird. Huh.
Okay, so if I go way over here, does it? Oh, okay, that's what I wanted to do.
It doesn't get away.
Dang it. Anyway, okay, so we'll come down here. I'm wasting time. Right click. All right, so now let's see. Let's take a look at a couple of other things here. So I think you guys have a fair idea how to add items to your item catalog. Again, to do that, you would just come in here, hit ductwork, or to add a group, you hit the new group and then name it. To add an item, you just hit add item and then you pick the group that it's in. Let's see, if we to do it again, if we go to electrical, we would do, maybe one would be lights, maybe another one would be Control Z that. Let me save my file too. Okay, so I could put lights. Let's see, where was it? So electrical lights. Another one would be gear. Communications maybe would be conduit and cable tray. And gear. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Delete. Okay. So you can do that relatively painlessly. Resources, if you're going to, if you need to get really granular with it and you want to take off all the entire process or the entire assembly in a specific way, because you need to get counts of small things. So for you guys, maybe that would be, you've already got insulation in there, but maybe other things. you could use the resource catalog for the quantification workbook. Typically what I would do is we would go through this like this would be like a full day, but I'm just kind of trying to get it in there. But basically, again, to take something off. Well, let's just we'll do VAVs here, okay, just for an example. So I'll do this one more time. VAVs, we've got it selected there. You right click on the line item in the quantification workbook, and you can either say take off the selected model items there, or you could do model takeoff and take it off to that. Okay, I like doing it with model takeoff just because it makes sense to me to do it that way. Let's say there's something that's not in the model, right? So in this one, there's obviously no cabinet unit heaters, but let's just assume that we know that because an RFI just came out, or you guys asked a question in a pre-bid RFI if there were going to be any cabinet unit heaters and fan coil units, right? So what you could do is you could come in here and you could create a virtual takeoff. Okay, so you do that, and so then we've got that in here. Basically, I could come in here and I could say, let's see, there was, I could keep creating a couple of them, so I could come in here, and so then I could go into my item catalogs here, and I could say, okay, I could do that, and then I could come down here to my primary quantity, and I would just make it each.
So this would be the unit level, and then you can make assemblies of units, or
sure. I mean, maybe for your air handling units, maybe that's what you guys would do a resource for. So I guess, do you want to go through that? Let's give that a try here. Maybe if
we may have some given components for a piece of equipment or something.
Yeah, so you could do that there, but then also, like, if there's something that you need to take off that's not in the model, or that can't be quantified by looking at it in the model, then you can do a virtual takeoff. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, the only thing I'm trying to get in my head is things that are dependent on something. I would consider that an assembly. How do you organize that? Yeah,
I mean, you were talking about air handlers, so let's try to set that up. Okay. So, like, what would go into the what other items would go into to taking off an air handler or quantifying it?
It's a different discipline, but I would imagine you've got emergency disconnect, variable frequency drive.
Okay.
Concrete pad.
Yeah, pad.
Mm-hmm. Ductwork.
Okay, so let's do one of those right now. Okay, so again, I guess we're gonna do a so what we could do is we could come in here and we could say I'll make this bigger so we can see more stuff. So let's just say that we knew that there were you had to have so many emergency disconnects on inside of the air handler, right? So maybe this would be maybe like the area. Maybe you had to have them every 20 square feet, right? Equals model area. So I'm taking it from this one right here. Equals model area divided by 20 square feet. Okay, so then I could do that, and I could say, well, each basically. So I would know how many of those that I needed. What about, how would I take off VFDs? Would that just be one per air handler unit, or what would
Yeah,
it?
one per motor, one per unit.
Okay. Okay. Then for the equipment pad, that would be that would equal model area time. Let's just say there needs to be 2 feet additional space around it or something like that. Then maybe so that would be plus then 2 times model length times, let's see, trying to think. Well, maybe model area plus 2,
yeah.
maybe.
Well,
Plus 2 feet.
that probably won't get you. That probably won't get you too much, but you could do model length plus 4 times model width plus 4. Can you do that in parentheses or?
Yep.
Times model plus 4, assuming they're in feet.
Yeah. And
We'll
the model length and width are both in feet right here. Okay, so you do that, and then basically you've got your primary quantity there is, well, and then I guess what you would really want to do there is divide it by 27, because concrete is taken off in cubic yards, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then I guess what we would also do here is times, let's just say it's 6 inches.
So half a foot.
Like, or yeah, 0.5 times.
Yep, that should be good.
Yeah, and then divided by 7, and then that would give us cubic yards. Okay, and then for the interior ductwork, maybe that would be maybe what we would do is model length, and maybe I don't know, how would you do that one? That maybe model length times 12, or like double it or triple it or quadruple it or something. Like what would?
Yeah, it's probably a question for the estimators.
We'll just do model length times 12
good.
or something like that.
We'll just make something up.
Mm-hmm. So now we'll bring that in. Okay, so we've got our assembly here. Maybe there's more items here. Maybe there's less. That maybe we even need to bring in maybe we even need to add rebar in here for the equipment pad. I don't know, but whatever. Here's our example. You come over here to the quantification workbook, and we'll go to equipment, and I'll put in I'll add actually no, shoot, I've got to go back in here, and I'll just add a new item, air handler units. Okay. So now what I can do is I can right click on this, and I can say use resource, and I can say use existing master resource, and then I can pick this one, and so then it drags and drops it in. Okay, so I've got all those in there, so it remembers all that. It's going to remember all of our quantities that we created. Okay, so now if I want to come over to my quantification workbook, let's shrink this down some. I'll pick my air handling units. I'll come down here, and we'll do model takeoff. So it does that, but then it does the it'll do the takeoff numbers for each of these things. So the primary quantity, for some reason it errored out. Great.
Yeah, it's okay. I think we get the idea. So it just becomes an additional item in the list.
Yes. Yeah. So if there's the specific things that you need in there, then it'll bring them out. So you'd have to kind of finagle this again. Like typically, if we do train this, then basically what we start out with, I would say this probably is going to it would take like a half a day. And basically what we would do is the first half, or there would probably take a full day, but the first half of the day, what we would do is we would fill out our item catalog. We would put all of our cost code stuff in here. We would name everything. The second half we would come through really like the first. Then after that we would probably create search sets based off of all of these items. Okay, that would probably take 2 hours or so, and then the last little bit we would start taking things off.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Okay.
a brand new feature, so I'd imagine it'll be a while before anybody starts working with it full time.
Yeah. So let's look here. So let's say we want to take. So we're at 11:30 here. So let's say that we want to export this stuff out. Okay. So if we want to export out our catalog, let's see, where do I go? Okay. I'm trying to remember. Oh, that's right. It's at the end over here. It's hidden. So scroll all the way over. So my monitor isn't big enough. But basically, let's scroll all the way over to the right if you unless this button right here shows up. So let's say we want to export this catalog out. We can choose whether we want it to be XML or Excel. So I'm just going to pick Excel. Okay. So we'll export that out. I'll put it on my desktop. So it's going to collect everything that we've done so far.
So it's just a full report, everything.
Yeah. It's going to have raw data in it. It's going to have pivot tables that kind of show all kinds of fun stuff like you can get the primary quantity stuff out. I'll show you why that was important. But basically it will pull this out so that hopefully your estimators will have just the exact numbers that they were looking for, so they can plug and chug stuff into their your Timberline estimator or whatever. Okay, it's taking its sweet time. Just start closing stuff. There we go. Closing things helped. So I'll open it. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so you've got all the data here. Oh, where'd it go?
Yeah, like the last one, groups pivot table. It probably is useful.
Yeah, so that one is probably, that's definitely going to be the best one. And so you can get, you'll have all your primary quantities over here for each one of those. And so basically your guys can just take that and start doing whatever they need to do with it. Okay, if I go to the resources or the items, it's going to show me, I could see if I want every single one, or I can just see the numbers for each thing.
That'll be when you're trying to troubleshoot it.
Yeah,
you'll get in there when you see something that's wrong.
Resources, same thing here. So you can get your totals out of it. Okay. So that's basically what it gets you. Okay. Same thing here. Let's say you guys want to export your sets. Just it's the same exact looking button. You just hit import export. You hit export search sets, and we'll call this. Okay, we'll do that. I'll save that on my desktop. All right. Same thing if we want to do the appearance profiler. I can save that. I think I actually already did save that. Yep, BNI appearance profiler. You just save that. And then if you need to load it, you just hit load and then you find it. Okay. Same thing here. If you're starting from scratch, to import your search sets, you just hit that button and then hit import. Okay. Same thing here with your quantification workbook. You can import the catalog in. And then you've got, it's most effective if you set up your items and your resources beforehand, and then you can use it on every project going forward. Okay, so that's that. So we've got 30 minutes. So what would you guys rather go over? Do you guys want to hit me with questions about Clash? Do you want to learn about animation? What do you guys want to do? I guess is there anything else that I need to go over in quantification as well?
Probably a couple of things that I've been struggling with is whenever the model errors out and you can't see things, or separate from that, when you're going in and out of the Clash detective, the visibility changing on you.
Okay, so yeah, the way that I always do, I do 100% of my clashes. I do 100% of my views, unless I have to get deep down there. But whenever I'm creating, my clashes, like what you guys did here, let's see if there are any like that one right here, right? I always 100% of the time, and you guys looks like you guys did it here too. I always create my views looking from the top down, so it looks like it's in plan view, and then I like I said, I'm always working off of one level, so I don't have to worry about the floor being turned on or the floor hiding what we're supposed to see here. I always do that just for consistency's sake. Okay. Because if I always create my views the same way, then everybody comes to the expectation that that's the way that they're going to be. I also let's see,
something I'm doing all the time when I create a saved view is I'll have to right click it, select the two settings that lock in how it's being shown, like I think they're called visibility settings or override settings. If you right click, right click save view. I don't see your pop up, but
are you saying right? You're right here, like when you're in the results.
Not necessarily, but that's something else I struggle with. If I'm actually in the Clash Detective and I'm trying to go between looking at everything and looking at the Clash, but saved views, if you go back to your saved view box window there.
Okay, yep.
Right click any one of the saved views.
Okay. Bear with me. I put everything into a group.
Cool. Crashed it.
Yeah, good job, Michael. Okay, here we go. Start closing stuff again. There we go.
Back.
All right. So yeah. So you're saying right click on one of these or
Edit. Yep. So is there a way to set this as a default so saved attributes are always checked whenever I save a view? I'm constantly having to save the view, then click in here and hit hide required and override appearance. What that does is it helps the next person when they open it, or myself when I go back to it. It's exactly as I save the view.
Let's see if we can do that. Let's go to options. Let's see if we can find that viewpoint defaults. Okay, so if you want to, you can set that stuff up. I guess you can set it up, across everything. So if you're
that's what I'll do. Good.
That's kind of cool. You can also even do that if you want.
On what is that? So you can go in, so you can walk through things.
Yeah.
Or not walk through things.
Yeah, I don't know why you would ever want to have gravity on personally. That's incredibly frustrating to me. But everybody has their what is going on? My Okay, so I've fingered it.
So the other thing that we have is after we refresh the clash test, and we go into the item, and then switch between the whatever your visibility settings are for results, and I just hit the select, and then I can see the model as it is.
Oh yeah, yeah, I agree with that. So
is that still an issue in 2019?
Yeah. Okay, so why aren't my... So all those are resolved, that's why. Okay, let's see, is everything resolved? Should be active ones. Okay, bear with me. Sorry, that's new group. Let's find just the orange. Okay, so what was the question again?
Whenever you refresh, so run the clash test again.
Yeah.
And then you have a model set with your profiler. You'll go into the results and out of the results just to change the visibility to show the clash or show the model.
Mm-hmm.
The model itself changes from what you originally had.
Well, so like the color coding is no longer color coded, like because the new items changed.
Well, I get that part because that makes sense, but what doesn't make sense is when you go and view a clash and then go and view the model itself changes back to something
instead
other
of red
white,
to
it's
green.
like gray. It turns all gray or whatever.
Okay, let's see if I can duplicate that. My computer's still thinking about things. I've angered it.
So mechanical pipe versus MP versus FP. It happened there for me.
Here, why don't you? Which one should I can give you the the screen, and then maybe you can you can kind of show it off, and then maybe I can help.
Yeah.
Which one? Who do I need to
Tim.
give it to?
All the way to the bottom of the list.
Timothy.
Yep.
Okay, I will make you the presenter.
Certainly took its time. So I'll go in here, pick that test. I'll do that results, and then I'll go back. And of course, now it's not doing now that I'm showing you guys. Let me try picking just a different clash result. There you go.
Okay, yeah. So that's okay. Where is the little thing over there on the right? Scroll over like at the bottom of your at the very bottom of your Clash Detective, and scroll over to the right a little bit. Yeah, what the heck? Where is yours? Oh, it's because we're in Select now.
You want this?
Okay, so now I understand what you're saying. Okay, so the problem is that when you go over and you're trying to see the again, that's why I mean I never have the next floor on. I would also probably have like the floors as like a 50% transparent thing, so that I could always see that.
Sure.
That's the biggest problem. That was one of the biggest problems that I had too. Was like, was when you went back and forth and then you're trying to get detailed into it, like you couldn't see through stuff. So that's why I definitely went through. That's why I would just do one floor at a time, because it made it so much.
So the next thing I would try to do is I try to bring my sections across, and then it still wouldn't work.
Yeah, that's.
You just have to know where you are and try to work around it. But yeah, it's probably just too big of a model.
Okay, so anything else? What else?
Nope. The only other thing is that I've been trying to resolve under Home File Options. There's this clipping planes. Occasionally, the view will, as you're flying through it, everything will disappear.
Yeah, okay, I know how.
Yeah. Sometimes helps.
Yeah, and So yeah, I understand what you're saying. So like it's like you walk through it, and then like it seems like stuff that shouldn't be kind of being clipped is being clipped.
Yeah, and okay. I have no clue what fixes it or.
Yeah, okay. I know exactly what fixes that. Okay, so if you look at your model, and I'll give you, or I'll take control back.
Yep.
Where did my go? Okay. So if you we'll do that here. Select. Okay, so the thing that really hurts Navisworks with I guess functionality with with optimization with moving around fast, the biggest killer is it's not necessarily the size of the model, it's the footprint. Okay, so I believe I was looking. There it is, right there. So if you've got some outlier way the hell out here in your model, that's going to give you a whole lot of problems. Okay, it's gonna clip things faster. So like let's look at that. It's also gonna, like, by default make it so that you move through the building faster than probably you desired. So let's see. If we oh, man, I'm struggling right here. Driving drunk. Okay, so what you're saying is, like, I mean, it doesn't appear like it's really doing it here, but like it's like, when you're going through stuff, it's like way far off in the distance, it looks like it's kind of clipping it. Am I correct? That's what happens. Like it looks
Correct.
kind of like
You'll
this.
see
Like
it.
you're
You'll
cutting
see it.
It looks like this, but it's way off in the distance that it's doing it. Right?
Correct. And you'll see that item you want to focus in on, so you get closer to it and it disappears.
Yeah. Okay. So the reason that happens is because you've got it's because there's something that's way off in the distance, and so typically what it is that somebody in one of their files had a they have like something that's at like true 0, 0 or whatever, and
I got you. That makes sense.
you know, and so let's just take a look at that. So like I guarantee you, next time that you see that, what I want you to do is I want you to try to find that object. So let's look at that one here. So let's say that this is the object. We'll hit selection tree. Let's just, for the sake of argument here, we'll just turn that off. Okay. So now, if I come back here, typically you would want to go into the model and then remove it or whatever. But I mean, you'll see that like the clipping doesn't take place at that pace, or at the. Another thing that you can do is you can come in here to navigate, okay? And so you can kind of like, sometimes your angular speed is off. I usually don't mess with this, but like I try to keep this at around somewhere between, like you got it right here, somewhere between 45 and 135 degrees. I try to keep it around 90 degrees. But
yeah,
Is that-
pop up. I don't see it.
Does
There
it
you
have
go. Now I
anything
see
to
it.
do with my computer's RAM? Like if I have 7 Revits open and 4 Navisworks model, is it just getting overloaded and that's why it clips out?
it could be, but typically what I've seen, like 3 out of 4 times, it's because you've got something like one stupid little object that's way off in the distance. Like it could even just be like a line crosshairs that's like 2 miles away from everything else. And so like basically what happens is when you walk, then it's repopulating everything. And so it's like, because that one thing's way out there, like Navisworks the way that it's using a bunch of different threads, okay? And so like that one thing is taking a whole lot of energy out of it, or out of the mechanism, I guess, and it's that's the problem. That's what's happening there. You've got something way off in the distance. Okay.
Understood. I got a question. Do you know of any way to we're investigating new means of labor tracking in the field. And what we're trying to do is maybe within the model know of a way to select duct or elements and change the status of them. And then essentially that data could be populated into like the quantity takeoffs. Do you know of any way to change the status of elements?
Navisworks, you can't do that, but in field, in bin 360 field, you can do that. But it's a pretty that's something that I'd have to demo for you at a later time. It's like that. That's probably like it's a complicated demo. But we could set something up like that. I think what we would do is we would I guess we would get on a call for 15 minutes. You'd explain what you want to, what you're trying to accomplish as far as labor with it, and then I'd see if you'd give me your model. I'd see if I could set it up, and then we would do a demo like the next day or something.
Okay. All right, but not Navisworks. There's nothing of like that that can change the status. Okay.
I mean, I'm sure that there are some like plugins that like maybe there was one called that we used to sell called I Construct. There's another one that we used to sell called Collaborate. I would bet like I would wonder if I Construct could do that. But I've never, I personally have never done it in Navisworks. I've always had to do it tracking
Third
equipment
party.
in field, in bin 360 field.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. What else? That was a good question.
You want to look at any of the rendering real quick, or is it too much time?
We can do that. One other thing. So let's say another thing that having that thing way off in the distance is going to do is it's going to make your linear speed of walking. It's going to make it astronomical. Okay. So like you just tap your mouse and move it like a quarter of an inch. It's going to move it basically like that. If that ever happens to you, come over here into the item tools the viewpoint tab. Go to navigate, and then change this to something like suggest between 0 and 100. Okay? So if I go to, let's just say 75, if I do that, then, see it's going to move a whole lot faster. Then if I change it to 25, like it was.
Can you apply those settings to all the save views in case we got some errors with the save views?
Yes. Yeah, you can.
Okay.
And so that's a consistent thing that happens a lot. Okay, so now let's look at rendering, okay? So why would you use the rendering tool in Navisworks rather than in Revit? The reason for doing that is because you can basically choose, let's see if it'll come up here. Give me a second. What's nice about this is that you can much more quickly change like the appearance and the materials of certain objects if you need to. So basically, you can come in here and you can you could set this up. You can put So let's just kind of go ahead and do that here. I'm gonna come into this cubicle right here. And I'll kind of, there we go. Let's see if I can get down here. So we'll do this. I'll get right under the table so that I can see things even better. Okay, so let's say this is what we were wanting to do we wanted to render this right here. At first, I'm just going to save the viewpoint so that I've got it in case I ever get lost. Okay, so then you come over here to render. What you would do is you would turn on the rendering tab. There we go. And so basically you can kind of come in here and you can, oh, that's ugly. You can come in here and you can kind of customize how you want things to look. Okay, so if I want, there's sorry if I'm babbling here, but I'm trying to get stuff. So there's the Autodesk library, and then there's the document materials library right here. Okay, so if I wanted to see what, maybe this table looked like, with, see, glass, and I wanted it to be blue glazing, then I could assign that to the selection. Okay, so I just clicked on it. Then I right-clicked and I did that. Okay, so now let's say for these chairs right here, I can I'll come down here. Okay, I want this to be plastic. Okay, so I can come through here and I can say I want these to be light orange. Okay, so now for the walls, let's say I want those to be a certain thing. So maybe we'll do paint. No, I'll just pick pink paint. Right-click, assign to selection. Okay, so next I'll select the ceiling, and I'll pick. Let's see. There we go. I could pick one of these. So I could pick light gray, dark gray. I'll just pick cafeteria white ceiling. If I wanted to, I could edit it. I just clicked on it. And then I can change the color if I want to. Let's see. Color, so I can pick the color. So if I wanted the ceiling to be blue or whatever, then I could do that. And I assigned a selection. There we go. Okay. So now
Can you make our like duck or something shiny? Like that's probably what we're gonna be. Can you make like the metallic stuff look like metals?
Yeah. So let's pick those. Okay. So we've got these dudes in here. We'll pick metal. So you can pick just about whatever you want. Bronze, checker plated, chrome. So let's just pick chrome. I'll click that and assign the selection. Okay. If I wanted to, I could come in here and do lighting. Lighting to me is always the most frustrating part of this, but you can kind of come in here and do that. Okay. So now, let's say we've got all this selected. All you have to do now is just hit ray trace. Okay. So you can kind of pick how you want to do it. You can choose low quality, medium, high, coffee break, rendering, whatever, right? So I'm going to do customs. You can even do customs. So if I want my render time to be 1 minute, then that's basically as long as it's going to take. So let's just go ahead and do that. So I've got that right there, and I'll hit ray trace. And so it'll take a minute, and it'll create a it'll create one. Actually, let me hit escape. I'm gonna hide. Oh shoot! It'll only take a minute.
I got one more advanced question. I saw a picture one time where the MEP trades were pronounced, and then like the architectural and structural were faded. Like they were, it started out very faded, and then the building was kind of, came to light in the background. Have you?
Okay.
Is that in Navisworks, or was that done like in Revit or some other?
Yeah, it could be. I'll show you. I'll show you how to. I'll show you how to do that here in a second. So
we would want the building to be kind of seen, but we want our systems obviously to be pronounced.
Yeah. So maybe the rest of like everything other than your systems is like, let's just say 50% transparent.
Yeah. Is there a way to make that fade away though, where it's 5% in the beginning of the building, and then towards the back of the view it became 90%? If you follow what I say.
Yeah, so it's like gradiated.
Or similar to cutaway.
Yeah, the transparency was gradiated, yes.
I mean, yeah, you could do that where, you would have to basically select certain items and then, make them more transparent and make them less. But I'll show you generally how to manage the transparency.
So I could select architectural NWC and tell that to be gradiated?
I don't think gradiated, but transparent.
Yeah, so okay, it's not.
Let's see what this looks like.
And you said you were going to follow up with some resources.
Yeah, I'll send you guys
books or anything that
for
talk about the
quantification.
advanced features.
Yeah, definitely quantification, and for
maybe rendering also. Just some good books or resources would be great.
Okay. Let's see here. Man, it should only take like a...
Yeah, it's a long minute.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so once I get that done, I'll taking its sweet time. I'm gonna hide my screen for a second. Maybe that'll help it go faster. I don't really have anything else open.
While it's rendering there, have you ever had trouble with selection set in the profiler where you're able to select an item but change the way it looks?
Yes, and the reason for that is probably because you have in the view settings. I'll show you that here. I'm at 80%, so I'll show you that in a minute too. The reason for that is probably because you have like the materials turned on in the viewpoint settings. I'll show you where that is.
Yeah, because
And so what
it was
they've done,
porcelain.
so what they've done is they've changed the color of the materials for certain things.
Okay.
I'll show you how to turn that off. I'm at 90 something percent here right now. Come on, Speed Demon. It's a good 5-minute one, not a 1 minute. The last percentage is always the toughest. Here, Tim, I'm gonna push it over to you while I'm waiting on this, so I can show you both of you guys, or show you both of those things. Okay. So
All right.
go to I believe it's viewpoint. It's either viewpoint or view. I can't remember. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty
viewpoint,
confusing.
and then go over here to mode. Okay. So it is shaded. Typically, that's what it is. Sometimes it's. I mean,
I'll have to
typically it's in
check.
full
I
render.
wasn't okay. I wasn't paying attention to this, which one it was set to. So shaded is the preferred, and it should work.
Yeah. If it's shaded, then you'll be able to modify the color in Navisworks. Okay. If it's if the mode is the top one, the full render, then you're not going to be able to do some of them. Like, so if Revit had a color render for it, then that's going to override it.
Gotcha.
Okay, but if it's shaded, then you can change it. Okay, now go over to your selection tree. Okay, so now just pick one of the any of them. So right click on that. If you like to override the something in the item, go all the way down to the bottom where it says override, and then override the color or the transparency or whatever. So then you can change the color. Yeah, so click on the floor or that table or something. Okay, there you go. The wall changed. So that's basically how to do it. So you select the item or items or even the model, hit override, pick the change. You can change the color. You can change the size of it. You can even change the the transparency of it.
So, is there any one of these settings that takes precedence, or if you ran Appearance Profiler right now, it would default everything back to? Does anything, override anything else, or is it just the last means that you change the color with?
Yeah, good
what holds
question.
true?
So if you run the Appearance Profiler, it's gonna, it'll do everything. Okay, but let's say you update that file, everything's gonna come in as or everything that was new, or everything that was new in that model was everything new in the model is going to be the default colors from however the modeler set it up. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to run the Appearance Profiler, every time. But it's a good and a bad thing. It's like, the bad thing is that you have to run it every time, and that's really annoying. But the good thing is that you can see pretty quickly what changed.
Okay. So in my quantity takeoff, when I did a takeoff, it changed everything to whatever color
Yes.
was selected. How do I get it back? Do I just run Appearance Profiler? Is there a...
Yeah, you could do that, or if you go to your quantification workbook. Let's see.
The top right bar.
Yeah. No. Yeah, the update maybe, or that one. Try that.
Original model appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I have anything to visualize.
So that went. All right, so that made everything white again, which is probably default. So now I'd run my Appearance Profiler.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see. Where did it save that file? Alrighty. So I'll shoot over the what the rendering thing looked like. We'll do that right there. Okay. So basically, here's kind of what it looked like. I didn't set up any lighting, so everything's kind of dark, but you can kind of see that that you've got shiny looking stuff there. The glass is right there, so like your ductwork's shiny. The tables are orange. The wall is pink. You can export it out if you hit this. You can export it out as an image. So then you've got that image right there.
Okay.
Okay.
But you're locked to that view.
Yeah. Once I move, then it's gonna get upset with me, and it's gonna. Yeah, give me a second. Yeah, so now it's going to go through and try to do it again. So I'm just going to turn it off.
Okay.
Okay. I guess, yeah, anything else?
I think I'm good. Thank you. You said you're going to send us a link to this so we can walk back through some of these steps?
Yeah, I've been recording it for probably 90% of it. So yeah, I'll have this process over lunch, and then I'll send out I'll put it up on YouTube and send out the link with, as well as the Appearance Profiler that I set up, and the search sets that I set up, and then I'll even I'll export the quantification workbook as well, so that if I don't know if it's exactly how you want, but that it'll give you something to start out with. Export catalog to XML. So okay, desktop. So yeah, I'll send you all that stuff, and then I'll look for maybe like a better quantification, like maybe a couple of videos that'll better walk you through quantification, or slower. I was trying to get through everything, but yeah, typically if I do that training, it's like a full day, and the first half of it is just setting up search sets and the item catalog, and setting up all of the cost codes and all that stuff, and then the second half of it is actually applying all that into the model.
Sounds good. Appreciate everything.
Okay, cool. Great. So I think that's it. Thanks for your time. Be on the lookout for the email that has the link to everything and all the different things that we worked on today. Here, probably around 1 or 2 o'clock. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for your time, guys.
Yeah.
All right,
Take care.
thank you.
Okay. Bye.